Urges President Buhari to summon outgone service chiefs. Elder statesman predicts division of Nigeria in 6 months. On the foreign scene, Australia's threat to jail citizens returning home from India criticized. I am Ifeemi Andrew. Governor Nyesom Wike says President Buhari should summon the outgone service chiefs to account for the $1 billion withdrawn from the excess crude account for purchase of weapons. Speaking in a television interview, Governor Wike said proper account is not given for money spent in the current administration because most appointees of government are not afraid of the president.
Remember, there was a time $1 billion was taken from the excess crude account to provide for security. And it tells me, if I should release that money, as the chief executive, the chief security officer, knowing how Nigeria is, I will make sure that those weapons were bought and the right ones were bought. You have to take leadership. I couldn't have released $1 billion, and then nobody can show me those equipments. Even if those who are at the heads of affairs of security, they have left, the onus is on you. You can still summon them back. Where are the equipments that we bought? If they know, then look, be careful. He gets information everywhere. Sit up and say, look, let's not do this. It is important not to say I'm committed. It's important for you to seem to be committed.
APC chieftain Fani Kayode says current insecurity in the country is as a result of failure in leadership. Speaking in a television interview this morning, Mr. Kayode said government at all levels have failed the people. He blamed politicians of both the ruling and opposition party for the current state of the nation.
I think we've all failed. There's been a failure of leadership, there's been a failure of followership, there's been a failure of responsibilities on all parts. And I think every single one of us that proclaims himself or herself as a leader really has not done too well, whether you're in government, ruling party or opposition. I think all of us have been rather blind and insensitive and unfeeling about the challenges that our people are facing in this country. We have been over the last 5 years. We're all culpable, and I believe that we have continued that trend right up until now.
Mr. Kayode also said that the country could fall into a civil war if decisive steps are not taken by the government.
Things are just so bad that if we're not careful, this country will fall apart and will end up being in a terrible civil war. And that is why it is very, very important for us all to understand that it's time for us to come together, work together, forget about our differences politically or in terms of region or religion or zone, and try our best to bring our people together and understand the challenges that we face. People are being slaughtered every day all over the country by mainly foreign Fulani terrorists. We have a very vicious and a very dangerous assault and insurgency that is getting far worse than it ever was before. 2 hours from Abuja is not a joke. So we really are in trouble.
Also, a lawmaker from the APC, Olubunmi Adetunbi, called on President Buhari to seek for help from past presidents and leaders at different levels.
This country has a leader, and the leader is in the person of the president. And we are saying to him, okay, because the challenge of national leadership sometimes can be overwhelming, that you find yourself needing to be reminded of certain things, not because you don't want to do, but because you're simply overwhelmed. And the advocacy now is that the president should rise to the occasion. It is not a thing of shame for a leader to call for help. As a matter of fact, it's statesmanly, it's astuteness, it's a sign of advanced form of patriotism. The traffic to the villa should be faster, quicker, the doors should be more open. You should be seeing layers of people coming in and out to offer solutions to help the nation. That is what we want our president to do.
The national leader of the APC, Bola Tinubu, says Nigeria is better together. Speaking to newsmen, the party chieftain said patience and tolerance is what is required to overcome the current challenges. Mr. Tinubu said the security challenges in the country did not start with this administration, said the government, rather than blame anyone, will ensure the country is safe.
Tolerance, understanding, and management of anger is the solution to what we have on the ground. No leader of any nation nor any community we want his own people killed. So you cannot put it on the head of one man. This situation has its historical perspective. We know when it started, but we don't want to give excuses. This government will perform, Nigeria will feel safe, and be happy. We just have to build and tolerate each other.
Meanwhile, senior advocate of Nigeria, Robert Clark, says Nigeria will collapse in 6 months' time if care is not taken. Mr. Clark, while reacting to the threats by the DSS to hunt down those trying to tear the nation apart, said what is happening in the southeast is degenerating into a civil war.
The security section is talking and talking and talking. What are they doing? The situation in this country today is so bad that I, Robert Clark, I cannot guarantee Nigeria staying another 6 months. The problems are so overwhelming and they have been created by these same politicians. Since 1999 Constitution came into being, and this crop of politicians, young boys then, Nigeria has never been the same. Nigeria is worse than it was in 1982.
Away from that, the President of Nigeria Labour Congress, Ayuba Wabba, has described the complaint by some governors that they can't pay the new minimum wage as an injustice. Speaking as a guest in a television program this morning, he said workers are not treated with respect in the country.
President Biden, despite the difficulty, approved the minimum wage to be reviewed from $7.25 per hour to $15. But here we are in Nigeria. Some of our political elites are saying that a worker does not deserve 30,000 naira. Some of the allowances, newspaper allowance alone, is more than 100,000 naira per month. This is the injustice. It's a class injustice. Some of them work less than 40 hours per week, yet we have workers that put in their best. Some have even paid the supreme price, fighting COVID-19 to protect all of us. But yet, in some states, they were the first crop of people that their salary had been cut.
He also said that the resources to pay the new minimum wage is not the problem, but the commitment of governors in various states.
You don't impose a pay on them, you negotiate. And that is the concept of the minimum wage globally. We negotiated the 30,000 naira. 6 governors were represented, representing each geopolitical zone. There was a public hearing in all the geopolitical zone. And you recall, most of them said, well, once federal government implement, we will implement. But here we are. Today, more than 1/3 of the states are not paying. Some actually implemented only for level 1 to 6. So it's not also about lack of resources. It's about whether they are committed to workers' welfare. If not, how can a state like River be discussing minimum wage up to now?
Mr. Wabba stated that with the recent economic situation in the country, workers deserve to be paid more than the new minimum wage.
A bag of rice today is 30,000 naira. A bag of rice. If you have a family size, which is about 8, the husband, the wife, 4 children, and possibly your parents, is 8. That is the standard. In 1 month, you are sure that you cannot only be eating rice, you also need to pay rent. So when you look at the cost of living index, it's clearly that it's not something that can sustain a worker. Even daily pay now is 2,000 naira per day. And when you put that together, it's about 60,000 naira. But yet, in a structured economy like Nigeria, we are in a very sorry situation. So the situation continues to degenerate.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has called on workers to be more understanding with government. The minister, who spoke as a guest in a television program, said the government is overachieving, judging by the current economic realities in the world.
From 2015 down to now that we are talking, our revenue receipt is nothing to write home about. That is why government had to go into borrowing, to do capital works, to do the railways, to do our roads, to even finance portions of agriculture so that our people can get what they can eat. Airports, to renovate all our airports. The things we use in the airports are dollarized. So this is where we are. And so this government, in fact, President Buhari and his government have done what Napoleon could not do. I'm telling you, not because I'm part of this government. I am really amazed that we are able to weather this storm and still fulfill so many of the obligations.
Dr. Ngige also said that governors yet to pay the new minimum wage to workers in their states are breaking the law.
Section 3 says 30,000 naira shall be paid. Shall doesn't give you room for picking and choosing. It's a must. This is a national law. State governments are employers. Private sector people, banks, and the rest of them all are private employers. All of them are in this basket. Any state government or employer that goes and be negotiating minimum wage, like some of them are doing with their unions, they are running foul of the law. And Section 3.3 of the Act says anything you are doing in that direction is null and void.
He also said that the law permits him to take erring employers to court.
I can take any employer to court. If governors have immunity, I can decide and start from the Secretary to Government, Head of Service, and go down to members of the State Executive Council. Take them all to court.
Still ahead, Senate President Ahmed Lawan celebrates with Nigerian journalists as the world marks Press Freedom Day today. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan has felicitated with Nigerian journalists on the 2021 World Press Freedom Day, saying the National Assembly under his watch will not suppress press freedom. Lawan made this known in a statement issued by his spokesman Ola Awoniyi. May 3 is set aside every year to remind governments around the world of their obligation to facilitate and respect press freedom and to remind journalists of the need to respect the ethics of their profession. In business, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has lifted the suspension it placed on Azman Air on March 15. This is following a series of incidents involving airlines Boeing 737 aircraft. Azman announced on Sunday that the lifting of the suspension was confirmed in a meeting held between the management of the domestic airline and NCAA on Saturday. In entertainment, Nollywood actor Alex Ekubo has proposed to his girlfriend, Fancy Ochonlonu. Ekubo announced this on his Instagram page this morning. Fancy is a US-based model and entrepreneur with the popular jewelry brand. The online accessory store Zodiac caters for lovers of astrology. In sports, Manchester United's Premier League game against Liverpool was postponed after about 200 fans broke into Old Trafford to protest against the Glazer family's ownership of the club. Police said 2 officers had been injured during the protest. It is the first time a Premier League match has been postponed because of fan protest.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Australia's threat to jail citizens returning home from India has attracted condemnation, with the opposition calling the COVID measure racist and a breach of human rights. From today, any Australian arriving in the country from India faces fines and up to 5 years in prison. It comes after the country banned all flights from India until 15th of May. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has dismissed accusations of racism. On the news this afternoon, you heard that Governor Nyesom Wike has urged President Buhari to summon outgone service chiefs to account for monies meant for purchase of weapons. Elder statesman has said Nigeria may divide in 6 months' time. On the foreign scene, opposition has described as racist Australia's threat to jail citizens returning home from India. The news is edited by Choma Zewafo. Contact our newsroom on 0818 900 0017. Cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this afternoon. My name is Efemi Andrew. Enjoy your holidays, and again, good afternoon.